Welcome to the conversation part of the Approval Podcast. We have the executive producer of the Joe Rowe Show and also fill-in host when Joe is on vacation. He is the host of Miami Hurricanes pregame with Brian Monroe, also the color analyst as well as fill-in play-by-play for Miami Hurricanes basketball. I'd like to welcome back to the pod. I like to say one of my favorite coworkers I get to work with, and whenever we get to do games, especially during Thanksgiving or the holidays, he lets me do scores and updates. Hollywood, how we doing? And I got to say, it is a beautiful time of the year anyways. Camp is opening up.
This is why I love coming on your podcast, Trevor, because you give me such a nice introduction. That was beautiful, man. I appreciate that. Everything's good, man. It's the dead of summer here, but there's still a lot of stuff going on. It's been pretty busy, and yeah, man, ready to roll here. What do you got for me?
All right, let's do this. All right, what's your thoughts on the Dolphins, by the way? I'm going to give you that because I haven't had you on since it's December, by the way. And that was during the old regime when people were getting fired. What were your thoughts when they called up the Green Bay Packers and they got Eric Sullivan and they brought in the old BC head coach or DC, Jeff Hatfleet, is the head coach, by the way?
My thoughts are that it's okay to not have thoughts yet. Look, these guys just completed a draft where it was one of their largest drafts, ever, and they got a ton of new players here. There's a ton of unknown, and again, man, like. It's okay to give these. First of all, you got to give these guys the benefit of the doubt. I know that people were upset at the first pick, the Proctor over Ruben Bain. I completely understand that. I get why people were pissed. With that being said, you have to give these guys at least some sort of opportunity to do what they and build the team how they envision, right? And I don't think they got together and said, let's not draft any Hurricanes players. The Hurricanes were the most impressive team in the playoff outside of Indiana. So I don't think there was any sort of like weird collusion or anything like that went on. But there's a lot of unknown with this team, and I think that's right now anyone that tells you they know for sure that this team's going to be really bad, this team's going to be really good, or somewhere in the middle. I don't think anybody truly knows because your quarterback is a massive question mark right now. I don't know how good Malik Willis is going to be. I know that they thought he was good enough to send Tua to Atlanta and still pay his bills over there, right? They're going to be paying for him. They could have easily kept him. They could have said we're going to go with Quinn Ewers, who started last season for them. There was a lot of different options, but they thought Malik Willis, knowing him as well as they do, was the answer to that position. So, again, man, there's just a lot of unknowns with this Dolphins team. And, I just think you have to give these guys a fair shake here and, let's at least, we're through the second OTA at this point. So. And I'm hearing about how Malik throws and this and that, and this guy's this and this guy's that. And it's like, man, come on. They're running around in shorts. Let's at least get to fall camp and we'll see what's what.
Do you like how there's it's an unknown this year? Would you say?
Yeah, I think there's some great storylines around this team. To be quite honest, you look at last season, and I don't think there was much of a storyline at all going into last season. Last season, everyone just kind of felt like, all right, well, you got a GM who shouldn't be here, right? And, that Stephen Ross came out right after the season and said, I'm sticking with Mike, I'm sticking with Chris, and a lot of people are upset about that, and rightfully so. And, you rolled back, you ran it back with the same group essentially, right? And you expect a different result. It obviously didn't work, but last year just felt like a wasted year, like just another year of our lives that we had to sit through mediocrity. And at least going into this season, there's some interesting things to look for, man. Can these guys draft? That would be, question number one. How well can these guys draft? Did they pick any impact players in the early rounds of the draft? Did they get any, impact players late in the draft? So how do these guys draft? I think would be, 1A, and then 1B is how good is Malik Willis, right? That is I think it's fascinating, man. We haven't had that in a while down here where you bring in a guy and there's expectations that he's going to be the starter here for, hopefully the foreseeable future. But yeah, I think there's some great storylines around this season. It's certainly more intriguing than last year.
Yeah, last year I was trying to figure out what do I go with and how am I going to be intrigued with post game this year? I was like, who am I looking for? And the first game was well, they lost. Let's fire up the phone line and see everyone get really mad about it. So it's I'm looking at it as this. Can you be entertaining at least? I know it's Malik Willis. It's what's the bar? it's like I put the bar. It's like it's not a high jump. It's like a low jump. Like a kid doesn't usually have to, anyways. Like just be entertaining for me. And also, if you want to tank and be bad and suck and blow, try to go for at least get the quarterback, that Arch Manning kid at least.
Well, I think they had that opportunity, and they, they brought in new guys here. They want to win. They're not trying to be the worst team in football. They may be. They may not be. I have no idea, man. I don't know. Like, worst team in football is extreme, right? I mean, we've even tried to be that bad, and it is tough to win. I mean, what are you talking? 2 games?
3 games.
Something like that.
3
games. Like, you got to be epically bad. Now, look, the Dolphins have a brutal schedule. Yeah. There's I think maybe 1 or 2 games that they would be favored in. Right, and I think both of those against the Jets. So
I can see the Raider game too. Also,
yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I think the Raiders they'll be okay. I mean, but again, the Dolphins have no respect right now. All the power rankings are putting them all the way in the bottom. I don't know that they'll be that bad. I would be very disappointed if they were, because that would probably mean that Malik Willis is struggling mightily. Right? I mean, if you get decent enough quarterback play from him, I think you should find a way to win. I don't know, 4 or 5 games, something like that. But who knows, man? There's a lot of unknowns with this team, and that is an exciting thing to me. Like, that is something to look forward to. Like, I'm going to be watching week 1 to see what this thing looks like, and I will be watching all season long to see, how does this offensive line come together? Did you get some decent pieces on defense? And it's year 1 of a rebuild, right? It's a full-blown rebuild starting with the front office, but there's a lot to be, I don't want to say optimistic but again, you got to give these guys the benefit of the doubt, but there's a lot to at least be intrigued by.
Are you intrigued that what's the word? When Troy Aikman came in, he says, like, go for these 2 guys, and they fired McDaniel immediately. I think the first time they've had direction since, when do you think they had, since maybe 2000, would you say?
Well, I mean, I think it's nice that you had a guy come in that, knows what good teams look like. I mean, the guy does, Monday night, or was it Sunday night football that he does now? I get my broadcast teams confused, but yeah, I think it's nice. It certainly doesn't hurt to have another voice in there. I think there's other people that work at that organization that could be very helpful as well, who played that position. So yeah, but again, this Malik Willis thing is a complete unknown to me. I think there's an element of unknown to the guys that picked him and put him on the team. I do think there's a little bit of an unknown element there, but they think that his skill set is the right skill set for what they want to do, and let's see if it can work.
Definitely, for sure. I just think it's going to be intriguing because, like, the first 3 games, I'm going to give you the first 4 games. You're in Vegas at 425, at San Francisco, home for the Chiefs, and on the road in Minnesota. Like 4 intriguing games.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, when we went into the Colts game last season, the opener at Indy. Yeah. And, we go into that game, we're like, all right, we got to beat these guys. These guys are like a 500 team. And, if we can't beat these guys, who are we going to beat? And the Dolphins got just stomped in that game. I mean, it was embarrassing, right? They got blown out. And the Colts ended up being a pretty good team. They lost their quarterback. They dealt with some injuries. Yeah. But they had a pretty good team. They were a very good team to start the season. The Dolphins were not. And I think that game was obviously very telling as the direction of those 2 teams. I think Vegas is going to be improved, certainly. Mm-hmm. And the thing that the Dolphins have going for them is nobody knows what they're going to throw at them. Exactly. Right? I mean, the game number 1, like, I don't know what this guy's offense is going to look like. I don't know what the defense, like, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Like, nobody knows. There's no film, right? There's very limited film on Malik Willis. I mean, this guy has a few starts, but it's just very limited. So I definitely think they have that going for them. On the flip side, I don't know who the Raiders are going to start at quarterback. Do they roll out Mendoza? I would think, right? I would think it'd be Kirk Cousins, but Mendoza beats on camp. Doesn't Mendoza start?
If Mendoza beats out Kirk Cousins, if that happens, I'll be shocked. I was like, all right, the Raiders gonna be interesting then, So that's
Mendoza's got a lot of experience too, though, man. He's I wouldn't be stunned if it happened, but the longer you can let these guys sit and wait, I think certainly benefits them.
Definitely, for sure. All right. My big thing with the NFL is with this, by the way. So Miami's out of the Super Bowl rotation now because of it's not up to standards. What were your thoughts when that broke? And do you like now they just named Nashville as the rotation that's coming up? Is this is this pretty much shows that the renovations that it was not enough? Would you say, or is this that just the NFL is just sticking it to Miami again? Would you say?
So it seems like the NFL is kind of like, all right, you guys have all these other events, we're going to go elsewhere, right? And I know that those things take up a lot of that parking lot. We deal with it for the Canes games. There's tennis structures, there's Formula One structures now that don't come down, and so I guess that played into it. Look, I was at the national championship game for Miami, and the stadium looked fantastic. I actually was lucky enough to go to a Super Bowl when it was down here last. The first one, Patrick Mahomes won right before the world shut down from COVID there, but there's no issues with the stadium. I don't think there's any issues with the city. Certainly, I mean, the city is very accommodating for big parties like that. So it would be nice to have Super Bowls. I think you certainly want to have them, but we're going to get college football playoff games and F1 and tennis and concerts and World Cups, and there's enough going on at the stadium that I think it's enough for everyone.
I always feel like when I was doing the rotations of Super Bowl, it was like you got Miami's always in the top 5 at least, and you put everybody else anyways. It just seems to me as a slap in the face.
Like this, Trevor, like you got to look at it like, let's say, who's like a really cold, crappy place, like let's Minnesota. Say Green Bay makes it, or say anybody of those places. Like, where would you want to travel in February?
Warm weather.
Yeah, of course. So like there's only a few places that you'd really want to go like as a true vacation type thing. Yep. And the Super Bowl is like it's a week-long deal, right? They have the NFL experience at the convention center, they got the parties and all the stuff that goes around the game. So it's basically a week of events, and I think our city has shown that we're very capable of hosting these sorts of events. But hey, man, they want to go to Nashville or, wherever, Minnesota, whatever it is they want to do, then, that's good. It's great for those cities. I have no problem with it. I think it's fantastic for those cities. It'll certainly, give them a nice boost.
It's good for the economy, as we say. It's good for their economy, not for ours anyways. I always look at like this anyway. That's why I always look at it's like, how's Miami on the top 5 in the rotation anyways? It's always this. It should be Phoenix, LA, Vegas. I will throw Miami in there and Tampa anyways. Like those are 5 great rotation spots. You can kick out Houston anyways. So
I think you can probably have it in Vegas every year, and everyone would. I don't think anyone would be upset with that either, man. That's the trip, right? That's the NFL trip. You stay right there on the strip. You walk over to the stadium, and you're in business. That to me would be an ideal Super Bowl place, and they obviously have the facilities for it.
Definitely, for sure. All right. The other big thing that's happened in the NFL. What's been your thoughts on the Diana Cini and Mike Vrabel situation? Anyways, I feel like I have to ask this to everybody. That's why.
Oh boy, I was hoping you weren't going to bring that one up. What are my thoughts? My thoughts are that
it's giving us content right now. Anyways,
my thoughts are that the coverage has gone a little bit too far. It's gotten a little bit weird. This stuff is it's very intrusive, like these pictures that they have of them like out in public and out at a hotel and all this. And I don't know, man. I also have this weird theory that this is not the first time that the spouses are finding out about this.
Yeah.
Right. Because who was it? Was it Rossini? I think was just out with her husband at a concert or something. And again, like leave these people alone. But I just can't imagine that like those photos popped up from that hotel and the spouse are like, oh my God, you've been cheating on me for 6 years. Like, you got to be really crafty to do that for that long and get away with it. So I don't know, man. I don't know how they live their life. I don't know if it's, one of those types of marriage deals. But it's a very, very weird story.
It's been a weird story. It's also at least it's given us content instead of dealing with the AJ Brown saga. Like, when is he going to get traded? When is it going to be traded to the Patriots? This, and this. So it's like a kind of nice diversion, as I call it, anyways. So
yeah, it is. And I saw your boy AJ didn't get, or was it he had a wedding and didn't invite Jalen Hurts? Right? Is that what happened? Or Jalen Hurts no-showed him or something?
One of the
Sorry to hear that. I will say that the Eagles schedule release video I thought was fantastic. It was long. It's like 15 minutes long, but I really enjoyed that video to put the envelopes on the table and just the guys like reacting. And you actually got to hear Saquon Barkley like complain about the schedule, which I thought was great, man. I think it was really cool because I think the schedule is absolute crap for, with what they put, they make these guys put their bodies through, like, these quick turnarounds and all that. And I get it, man. It's in the name of money, and we're going to go overseas, and we're going to have to quick turnaround, and it's tough. It's very, very tough and grueling on these guys, and it's why the injuries really pile up the way that they do.
I'm going to ask you this question. RJ Choppy was on episode 400 of 105.3 The Fan. Do you believe the NFL should be a public service that should be on every regular over-the-air television every week and not be on every streaming channel?
That's a tough one. I don't know what
I think it should be anyways.
I mean, yeah, like in theory, it would be nice. If you listen to our show, I'm really against what's happening, right?
Yeah.
I don't like having to, like last night, I want to put on the basketball game. Like I got to, is it on Peacock? Is it on Prime? Is it on ESPN? And, it gets exhausting, right? And there's, what is it, 6 services you need to watch the NFL football.
Yep.
The net, Netflix, Prime, all these other ones, and then you need the NFL Plus, right? That I subscribe to on my phone because I want to watch Red Zone. It's a lot, man. It has become a lot. It's become very expensive. It would be ideal if they found a way to maybe let's just package all of it together. And, I don't know if Sunday Ticket, I don't know if is, I guess, kind of like that. But Sunday Ticket, you don't get the streaming games, right?
So Sunday Ticket is you get all the out-of-market games. And if you have YouTube TV, like a regular base channel, you get their games, your local games as well. I don't have YouTube TV, so I buy it for the Sunday Ticket only because I have DirecTV, because there's YouTube TV does not give you the regional sports networks down here. By the way,
and it's expensive, right? Sunday Ticket's expensive, but that again doesn't solve the problem of when the games are on Christmas or whatever and they're on Netflix. It doesn't solve that problem.
No,
so
I don't like getting Bing for $30 now on Netflix. I'm not happy about this, by the way.
Yeah, it would be really nice if they could put it all in one place and make it a little more manageable. I think for the fans. But here's the thing, though, man. I don't think the NFL cares. As long as people continue to consume their product and if the numbers don't drop off, which they're not going to, why would you stop? Why wouldn't you keep raising? And all these services, they all raise their prices. You'll get an email once a month, it seems like, from one of these services. Oh, we raised your rate by $1. We raised your rate by $2. And it adds up, man. It adds up. Very frustrating. I completely, it sucks. It's very, very frustrating to not be able to watch all the games in one place, to have a cable package and just be able to watch the games and have to subscribe to all these services. They have made it very difficult, but at the same time, I don't think they care. I just don't. And why would they?
The NFL could do whatever. For me, it's the NBA. It's what game is on what day? It's is it on cable? Because I like to be able to go through many games anyways. I have ESPN Plus through my DirecTV because they told me yo, get your ESPN Plus to us so you can just pay $1. I was that's perfect enough for me because I want to watch the hockey and watch the other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
My only big thing was when they put the MLB TV on there. It's I don't want to buy that as well through ESPN. It's it used to be separate things anyways. So that's how I view it anyways. It's just all the sports are bending me over and I don't like it anyways.
Man, look, as long as people are willing to pay it, then I get it. I get why they're doing it. The broadcast money keeps going up every single time they renegotiate these things. The viewership continues to climb. So as long as it's not going in the opposite direction, they're going to keep sticking it to people the best that they can.
Yeah, it's a sad thing to do anyways. It's I saw the NFL, what they do is Jesus, and I look at when I look at the next TV rights, I think it's the NHL for the US. I'm looking at it like this, they're going to get rid of the regional broadcast the first round anyway, so everyone can watch it on TNT, HBO Max, and everything. So that's how I see it. It's going to be like the NBA almost, which it's sad to see anyways.
Yeah, I don't think I get HBO anymore. I think I tried to watch something on there and it didn't go. I usually just if I go to the app and it starts playing, then I know I have the subscription. If not, I know I probably got to call one of my buddies to get a password.
I know. It's like an ESPN Plus login. It's like, do you have one at least? It's like, I think I do anyway. So
Well, I know that if I want to watch a USF basketball game, I call you up and I just whatever that login is, that thing works beautifully, man. And I just watch my Bulls basketball on ESPN, 50 or whatever that thing is that we log into.
ESPN 100. That's what I call it. I want to watch Big 12 basketball if it's not between Kansas and Texas Tech or Kansas and Arizona, if it's not on local television and stuff. What's your thoughts on? Did you see that Duke got the Amazon deal, by the way, for their non-conference?
I did see that.
What were your thoughts on that, by the way? As an ACC guy for yourself, anyways, like does that show?
Well, I saw that Fox wasn't so thrilled because they have Michigan's rights, I guess, right? And I know that's one of their big games. I think that's maybe the game. One of the games at the Garden. One is in Vegas. They play UConn and Michigan, and they're big games. And I know that Duke, I guess, in exchange, they're going to play in some of these like ESPN sponsored tournaments, and all those tournaments that take place like around Thanksgiving. Almost all of them are ESPN properties. So
yeah.
Good for Duke, I guess, man. I don't know. It's basically, I think these colleges are doing whatever you can to make money, because you make money, you can pay players, you pay the better players, you're going to win. So that's pretty much how this thing works now.
Do you think that would work with University of Miami? Like HBO would reach out to them to get their non-conference games? You think would that be cool? You think?
Man, I have no idea how that would work.
I'm just
that
thinking
is way outside my wheelhouse. I have absolutely no clue.
Be kind of cool, though.
All I can tell you is that Jay Lucas has done what he did in 1 year. If you think about it, is pretty miraculous, right?
Yeah.
To go from a team that just looked hopeless a year before, and it was just all sorts of a mess, and to take a team into the tournament like that, and I thought that was not. I mean, it was basically a miracle, right? What that guy did, and I think Jay is fantastic. I really enjoyed the time I got to spend with him during the season. He is smart. He's got a very, very high character guy. You're drawn to him, right? I think that's why the kids like to be around him. He's got that personality where he makes everyone feel important. And it's what he did in year one is pretty incredible. And the expectations are gonna be high for next year. Or this year, I guess. Now should be fun.
I think it'll be fun anyways if they like HBO reach out, like, I want to do things for training camp for like Hurricanes football and Hurricanes basketball. I think it'd be the best thing to stick it to Duke. And it was like, you could have your Amazon Prime. We'll go with HBO at least. Come on.
Yeah, well, Hard Knocks with Hurricanes basketball. There you go.
Yeah, Hard Knocks or 24/7, like what they.
Yeah, even better. Yeah, bring that back.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of Hard Knocks, what are your thoughts on? Do you think the Hard Knocks show has run its course? You think? I
haven't watched it in. I don't even know the last one I watched. Man, they're all the same to me for the most part. Like, it was cool for a while, and you get to know some of the players, and I don't know, man. It doesn't do it for me anymore. I don't even know who's on the
Seattle,
the one coming from the fall, Seattle. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be interesting to an extent, but yeah, those shows have kind of run their course a little bit for me. Did
you like the in-season one? Because I think that one was like, I watched it. I was like, I was not impressed by it anyways.
Okay. It's okay. I really like Quarterback. I think Quarterback on Netflix is a good show. I've enjoyed that one. I think this one will be really good because Cam Ward's going to be on it. And I'm pretty high on Cam Ward coming into this season. They put some weapons around him. And he is, you talk about just a nice kid, a nice person. Calling him a kid like he's still a freshman in college or something. But no, he's a great guy, and I really would like to see him succeed up there. And Dolphins might find themselves out of it pretty early on. It'd be nice to have another team to kind of root for over there, and certainly very easy to root for Cam. Is it crazy? I like that is quarterback class. I want the quarterback show. I kind of want to see what about Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco. So since Joe Flacco got traded in season, I think that's the most intriguing part. Joe Flacco is like, what is he, 50? And Baker Mayfield's a character, man. Baker Mayfield's a strange dude. I will tell you, though, he has won me over. I was not a huge fan of him, early in his career, and what he's done in Tampa Bay. He does this, that thing where he runs guys over and his team responds. They really do. They buy into what he's selling there, and he's been fun to watch. He's been fun to watch. I think Jane Daniel will be entertaining. But
Baker Mayfield reminds me of like a better version of Jay Cutler, at least. Like with a don't give a bleep attitude, honestly. It's like, I'm going to do it anyways, see what happens. So that's how I see it anyway. So what's the big thing that's going on with since you've been filling in for Joe Rose this week? What's been the big storyline you guys have been talking about anyways?
We've been in the NBA playoffs. It's been you had two incredible game ones. You had the Cavs choke that game away in game one there, and I think this Wemby thing is wild to watch. I mean, he is very, very entertaining. This Messi story we were following a little bit here, and Messi snubbed the fan supporter group, and they gave him the silent treatment. And
oh wow!
So hey man, it's always good when stuff like that happens to give you a little something to talk about here. Everyone likes a little controversy, right? And Dolphins are in OTAs. Malik Willis is throwing for the first time, so that's obviously a big deal in this neck of the woods. So yeah, it's been a pretty good start to the summer here, and we'll see if things start to quiet down a little bit as we hit June and July, and then man, when August hits, it's going to be all hands on deck here, because the Dolphins will jump into training camp, and then the Miami Hurricanes, who are a favorite to win a national championship this year, they're going to get back up and running, and I will tell you, Mario's got a hell of a team down there.
Mm-hmm. What expectations, like national title bust? Would we say, are we back in that category now? Gaines?
I would think they're going to be, they're getting to the playoff.
Oh yeah,
right. I don't see a world where they don't make the playoff. You look at their schedule; it's very manageable. Mm-hmm. There are obviously some players that need to be replaced, which they did, but who knows what the production will be at some of those spots. You look at on the offensive line, they had to, replace Maui Noah, and you look at the defensive side, Ruben Bain obviously is not there, Mesidor is not there, and you have to replace the quarterback as well. But they brought in Darian Mensah, who, we got a chance to see him throw. He looks electric. Their running back room, I'd put that one up against any in the country. Their receiver room is really, really strong. So I think offensively, they are going to be a very, very solid team. And then defensively, we'll see if they can pick up right where they left off. The defense was unbelievable in the playoff, and a lot of that, a lot of credit there goes to Corey Heatherman, their defensive coordinator, who is a fantastic assistant. I think the best in the country at what he does. And Jason Taylor will get that defensive line coached up. I can promise you that those guys will be ready to roll here.
I think it'll be really fun, especially that defense is really my pride and joy to see how that's what I think of Miami Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes defense swarming to the quarterback, swarming to the ball at all times anyways. That's the big thing for me. All right. Are you rooting for Knicks Spurs for the NBA finals pretty much? That your NBA finals going to get the NBA fan back, or is it could be good? Or are you rooting for the Thunder at least?
Well, I think ESPN already crowned the Thunder and the Knicks, right? They already had the final set. Like I was listening one morning, and I'm driving in, listening at Sports Center at night, and they're talking about how the Knicks can beat the Thunder, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I think the Knicks got to get through the Cavs first, man. I think the Cavs have a good shot to win game 2. I think they'll bounce back. I really do. I don't think that series is going to be easy. Clearly, the Thunder and Spurs series is going to be a war as well. The Thunder are going to lose that series, though, if they don't get physical with Wemby. I mean, you cannot allow this guy to continue to catch the ball 2 or 3 feet from the basket and do that thing where he dunks on you without even leaving the ground. Like, someone is going to have to give him an old playoff type foul and send the message like, hey, we're going to protect the paint here. We're not going to give you these easy ones every single time you make your way into the paint. But I think you got 2 excellent series going right now in the conference finals. I do think whoever wins out of the West is probably going to have a relatively easy time in the finals. I don't see the Knicks or Cavs getting past one of those 2 teams. I think they're significantly better. But with that being said, I've basically been wrong about every game I've picked through the NBA playoffs. So who knows?
A Knicks Spurs series is perfect anyways.
Look, the Knicks getting in is good for the game, right? I mean, it's fun to see the Garden rocking like that, and the Knicks are good for business. They just are. Cleveland is, I think Donovan Mitchell is a fantastic player. I'm not a huge fan of James Harden. Never have been. He's James Harden, I would say, is the best fantasy basketball player of all time. He's just not good in real life. I mean, he fills up the stat sheet like no other. but he doesn't necessarily impact winning so much. I think they got very fortunate to play that Pistons. That Pistons team was a fraud. I mean, that thing was such a fraud. The Magic should have beaten them. I just think whoever comes out of the West, out of that series, is probably going to have a pretty easy time in the finals.
Is Wemby the best thing that's going to happen? If Wemby makes the finals, that'll be the biggest storyline, 100%, right? In his third year.
It's and you know, I don't know if he's going to make it this year, but he will make it. I mean, and it's not just him. That team's really good, man. Yeah. They took game one without De'Aaron Fox in the lineup, who might be their second best player. He's a fantastic player. So they have put together a heck of a team there. And I look at San Antonio as a team that is going to have long-term sustained success. So I think this is the kind of conference finals that you're going to see, you know, consistently here. This is almost like when the Heat and the Celtics were battling it out every year in the playoffs. Like, this could be the new playoff rivalry you get between these two teams.
For sure. I just think it'll be good for the NBA. You get Wemby and it'll be perfect anyways. Plus, Spurs are. I feel like this is the first time the Spurs have ever been likable. Can we say that in our lifetime?
I didn't dislike the Spurs that beat the Heat. I was like in awe of the way that they played. The way that those guys, and you know, the finals that they took down the Heat in what, five games, maybe 6 games,
5 games. 14, yes.
Was it 5? My memory's all fried, but the way that team moved the basketball and played together, and they just played such perfect basketball in those finals. I mean, it was pretty enjoyable to watch. I mean, it sucked for the Heat, but they were a very, very impressive team. Tim Duncan goes down clearly as one of the best, if not the best, to play that position. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, like that team was fun to watch. The way that they played together. They weren't a high flying team, certainly. I throw Kawhi Leonard in there. I'm forgetting Kawhi Leonard when he used to be good.
Getting Marco Bellinelli off the bench, by the way.
Yeah, sure. But remember Kawhi Leonard, like for a minute there, they were like, "Oh, he's the best player in the NBA," and he fell off a cliff.
Dude, anyone who goes to the Clippers falls off a cliff anyways. Let's be honest.
Sure seems like it.
Definitely, for sure. Hollywood, it's always great having you on. We'll have you on during the summertime once training camp comes up, everything. I haven't talked to you forever, so it's great to have you on the podcast as always.
Great to be here with you, man. And anytime you just call me, all right? Let me know.